Guess we could wait a little bit. Y'all think this shit a joke? I gave y'all these timelines for a reason. I really forgot it was the 8th. I just been peeping how certain people pop up like an NPC to interrupt my frequency. But one thing about me is if I'm in a clearer mind state, how do you expect me to get me mad? If anything, how I express it might seem like you got me. No. Things I was attached to, I detached from. And that's from imagination. But look, we're going to get back to point with this one because apparently, I don't know if y'all listening or not. And I know I have some new people on here. But apparently, these timelines is real, y'all. So let's get to it. All right. Just use what I have for right now. So we're going to make a circle within a box this time. Okay. And I'm actually just going I'm going to free draw this. You feel me? It's just like 4 corners in the room generate energy. Reason why when you sage, it pulls that and it goes along the perimeter. Okay. But apparently I figured out this lunar time and now NASA's trying to take this shit and run with it. It's crazy. NASA, y'all are watching me? NASA, are you guys watching me? Hey, NASA. Yo. It's not. I guess I'll be weird for a second. Let's say like NASA watching me. Now this looks like a portrait. Okay. Let's see how we gonna do this. We're gonna go. Boo. I never drew it like this before. But it seems like some. All right. So these are gonna be my main lines. Because this line right here got your A, your B, maybe usually, yeah, we're gonna just say A and B, left and right of the Greenwich line. But if this was a clock, right, you would have 3, 6, 9, 12. Just like your brain, A and B is 1 and 2. So my theory is the clock and the compass tracks the sun using the map that we all use today. And no, it's not the real map. Correct, it's not the real map, but it's, in my perspective, is used to track sunspots. And as this sunspots go around the 360, right? The 360 just represents the aura, the dome, or the light. What generates this light is the energy within. So as it goes from the Pacific to the Indian Ocean to like South America, UK, it hits boom, boom, boom. And as it goes higher and higher, it takes 1 year, it goes into a higher dimension. Okay? So 3 is what you call east. 6 is what you call south. 9 is what you call west. It's pouring down rain and my bird's still trying to communicate with me. I don't know if y'all hear that. So you could tell the real birds from the fake birds because the natural uh, melodies, from the natural melodies, you feel it hit certain points in your body. And that bird outside, it usually hits my third eye compared to other birds. Not all of them are natural. So when you feel those certain frequencies always give out messages, period. It's just if you can pick it up or not. All right, so boom. All right, so we have there east, south, whoop-de-boop. All right, so the beginning will be April to May because of the 27th. See, it's always a gate from the 27th through the 12th. I used to say 19th, but we're just gonna go with the 12th since that's what Google say. Dealing with the Lionsgate portal, if you look up what happens in the Lionsgate portal, the alignments, boom. A lot of people don't like Rashad Jamal, which is cool. But if he's the only person I know that explained the Lionsgate portal for what it was. Now, one thing is you're going to hear other people speaking around that and not even know it. Okay? So he told you what the Lionsgate portal was. So now I'm going to tell you there's 4 a year. Okay? And those 4 phases. Ooh. Those 4 phases equals 4 faces. So this is when we get back to the dragon. Okay? And we're in the dragon year. But every year since 2017, it's been dealing with that. Because it's a scale. 90 degrees. It goes up by 90 degrees. Okay? So east, that's a 90. Okay? South is always 180. West is 270. 12 is 360, right? So as it goes around, it really counts every 3 months by 90 hertz. Okay? I say hertz. Say, because what is delta? Oh, I forgot I got my computer. Yeah, we could go live again and actually break down some shit even more like. Okay, so boom. All right, so what is delta? Delta means in science. Mathematics, delta, or you guys aren't really trying to. Okay, I'm trying to say some other shit, and I copied it from here. It's crazy. All right, so delta is often used to indicate such a change. Okay, so I'm big on delta because the delta symbol is that. And if you ask me, that looks like a fucking pyramid. All right, so boom. A delta is often used to indicate such a change. If X, right, what the X stands for? Chi, feminine energy. Okay, so if X is a variable, we write triangle X. See, they have this symbol right here because it's 2 symbols. I was telling y'all, one of them symbols is part of the U.S. section code. It has 1 above and 1 below. Okay, it's a little more curvy though from compared to this one. But you could look at the Greek or Hebrew chart because not telling you to study it, it just matches up in numerology. So it'll make whatever I say make sense, make even more sense. So look, the X triangle stands for change, right? For change in value. Really is supposed to say change in movement. We sometimes refer to triangle X as an increment in X. For example, if the value of X changes from 3 to 3.01, we could write triangle X equals 3. All right, so they explained it a little more differently. My book, where I have it, um, it says a little different too. So the way I've been saying it, um, X triangle means change in movement. Okay, so delta means denoting the energy denoting the energy in the direction it proceeds in. So let's go back to this. What's denoting this energy apparently, right? The sun, really Nibiru, because for this moon matrix, Saturn matrix to actually break, it has to go through a 3600 period, which is really just going to be about 12 years. Why? Because of this little thing I got going on here. It breaks it down like that. So 7 times 360 will bring you to about 2,500 years, which goes back to the 7 trumpets. Okay, so it's like it sounds crazy, but at the end of the day, this shit's happening. So where we at? It's the 7, and I don't have anything written down for that, but I'm just showing you real quick. Okay, so April, May. This is the beginning. This is like the new year. You feel me? New year, new gear. Before this is the rebirth. So this is when January 27th to February 8th, well, February 12th. Reason why the Super Bowl is lined up around that because that stands for Super Ball. Okay. Um. So the next one will actually be your 8-8 portal. Okay. Then you have October 27th. Reason why Halloween is lined up right there. Because really Halloween is the meaning of the 8-8 portal. How they say it'd be walk-ins and all types of shit, and how energy from Sirius A or B denotes on the planet and through the sun as a higher frequency. Reason why you feel the sun beaming the way it's beaming the way it is, because those are alignments. They still don't really talk about it, okay? Because it's not really there. But if you look at the horoscope charts and their different alignments, it's probably dealing with more energy, dealing probably with 6, which creates maybe 3 to 4 extra energies combining to one. Okay, so boom. So pretty much it's 4 8-8 portals a year. We're in one right now. Got this big ass X flare popping off. Whoop de whoop. So let's see this real quick. So the 6, right? Timeline or Hertz scale is 1890, 1980, 2160. No, 20. Cause you gotta count by 90s. 20. That would be 2070, and then 2160. Okay. Even when I looked up something for January 8th, talking about a red moon, because I knew it was just talking about the sun. Because the backside of the moon apparently is red. So it brought up this year. Well, actually, it brought up the year 2140, right? That was a couple of weeks before we got to the date we are here. I mean, the date we are now, which is May 8th. So this is when the energy is denoting at its highest because it's going past this and it's going to start the 7th. Okay? So then that's when it's going to line up with the trumpets, the 7 trumpets, even more with that timeline. But it's most likely dealing with the AD because remember, A plus B denotes C, just like left and right of your brain connects with the first eye. First eye. Gamma, C in Greek stands for gamma, right? But brain, which is your A and B, the brain wave is 72. Reason why on the grid, India's been kind of significant into this because 72 degrees east, 0 north is dealing with the Indian Ocean. Okay? But back to this. This is when it's dealing with you. Okay? So A plus B denotes the I. Kundalini goes just like triangle down. Triangle down, I say, is still a delta. It's just an upside down triangle. Okay? But I use the triangle down as the UV because another definition of delta is ultraviolet. So UV, this has to be that sign for that. So that energy comes down, but it loops back up and now denotes a higher self. Okay? As you keep rising and charging up, it denotes a higher self. So that's what's happening here. As the UV hits, the ground picks up and it rises back up. And when it sends up a frequency, it sends back a frequency. Then the ground sends back up a frequency. And then the sun sends back down a frequency. Then the ground sends up a frequency. So when you have these clouds, right, it's blocking those frequencies. So a lot of times I say grounding creates sunspots because you help the ground send its frequency back up to the sun when you have this wall pretty much blocking it. The whole point of these clouds is to manipulate the energy. What falls is what's getting people sick. What also falls is what people talking about damaged groundwaters and stuff like that. That's where that's coming from. But the thing is, it also rises, so it reflects light back to the sun, which is why there's some dickheads, unless that's what they're really trying to do in the first place. Because it's going to reflect light, which is going to just send back a stronger flare. You feel me? Just because the planet didn't fully receive this energy like it was supposed to. So, but as it's reflecting light, it helps build an ozone layer. That's how they built the ozone layer anyways, with clouds. The Sub-Zero technology was first. If you're wondering how they dropped out frequency, we taught them this alpha beta system, and they use it against us. Okay, so it's the thing about this 360 science. It deals with literally everything. It's just dealing with this perspective. I'm talking about how we're time traveling and how this is a global consciousness project, and they're using us to reveal the revelations. So as the Kundalini rises, like past these timelines, we reveal shit from this year. And if you haven't noticed, in this past, since last year, more people's been more into this, dealing with the 5D timeline, which was like the 1800s and the 1700s and the 1600s. More people's been revealing what's on that timeline because the DNA picks up on that. The DNA memory it resonates with the hertz like so. So the reason for that is time is measurements. Okay, class? Time is measurements of quantum. Okay? So if time is measurements of quantum, years is a measurement. Hertz is a measurement. Uh Period is a measurement. Centuries, decades, whoop de whoop are all measurements so they can keep track of the energy. Okay? These months and everything, measurements. It's just measurements, bro. It's just like minutes, second, time. Like you use seconds, minutes, hours in a day, and that's pretty much the calculations of a pyramid. Okay? So when I was knowing that, that's when I started peeping this. So, like we said, it goes up 90 degrees each time. So pretty much to get to this, you have to go around this 6 times. Okay? And that's pretty much what happens. That reverse polarity is pretty much this. Because a beam hit and I got hit by it. And I always wanted to figure out what the fuck happened. Because I was seeing through a wall. Literally saw the key turn from the other side. You feel me? No, 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 no. That's one thing people is going to start saying. I didn't study nothing from Dr. York. I respect Dr. York. I just really started getting on Young Elder's channel not that long ago. And that's what the first time I heard of him. Dr. York gave me confirmations to know what happened to me happened. Okay? I'm not trying to be disrespectful, but that's just what it is. I don't believe one person tapped in. I believe a lot of people did. Me, this is weird for me. I'm not even about to act like I'm some spiritual teacher. I'm just saying I be teaching now. I know it wasn't. I'm just having to tell people because I heard one person talk about Dr. York and call a lot of people fake. And he's very intelligent too. But at the end of the day, there's many people coming out with some type of science. I'm just realizing this is dealing with lunar solar time. And now NASA is trying to give the moon its own time zone. You feel me? So dealing with this Lionsgate portal or the dragon, there's 4 faces on a dragon. Those 4 faces are represented as 4 phases, okay? Or your 4 quarters of a year. Because it takes each year to go into a higher dimension. It's 3, 6, 9, 3, okay? That's really the end of this timeline. I broke out of this junk, you feel me? Well, I feel like I seen the kingdom. And that had to happen from going past this timeline. So this 3,600 years ties back to Nibiru being here. But when Nibiru is here, is pretty much denoting this energy because the sun looks like Nibiru most of the time. I got a video of it. They hacked my phone. But goddamn, look, the 36 years represents 12 years, okay? And that's one thing about Dr. York. When I was first starting to listen to him, I heard something Raw Hayes said. And he said, Dr. York said something about 2029, and it was kind of like perfect timing because that's when this shit pretty much, that's when it's done for real, for real. So when people say we in the seven, we are just getting in the seven. The people on the right, say this is the map. We over here in America. The people on this side of the line, they're dealing with that. Reason why they've been coming over here. So the fifth, this is a physical state. I'm talking about a physical state dealing with these hurts. Because if you were in a 4D, 5D, which was pretty much 2020, 2021 on a physical state, you could have took that energy and went past this. If we're speaking on time as a measurement, you could have went past this hertz, because 1,440, you could divide it by 360 if you want and tell me what you get. But this was the hertz that denoted a higher state, because if you look at the chakra scale, this is above the crown. So anything above crown is opening gates into a higher state. Because the same way gates open outside of you, it's the same way gates open within you. But A and B needs to be together to C. And once you see, you denote that higher E, electricity, for the G, right? And once you denote that G cell, now you pretty much got properation H, which is what the moon does, which is a Libra up and a Libra down. I call this shit the Libra scale, actually. I'm an air sign. I call this the Libra scale. Distance and time, maybe. You feel me? Because I remember in school, to find out time, you had to see the distance and the speed. You feel me? That was like the formula. And if you need to find the distance, you look at it as the time and the speed. And to find the speed, you look at the time and the distance. So this ties back to the Egyptians when it's dealing with the hertz and the sacred degrees. Okay? This is what I'm saying. Like, if you could peep this shit, you could build. Like, because I could show you an example. I started getting into some whole other stuff, right? That's what I'm saying. The ABCs is actually the code. It's the code of the DNA. It's called the alpha beta system for a reason. The brain. The onum sanctum is the mu nu sanctum, which is the moon sanctum. But the moon is the thermal, hold on, the thermal, no. The the double electro applicator thermohydraulic, which is pretty much a machine that operates like the brain. Double electrodes. Before I had this little invention I was about to start on last year. I'm sorry. Oh yeah, this kind of plays into it too, because if you realize south is 180, and you have these certain degrees they give you from the regular map. You put it around a 360, right? Most of this shit is going to be east. Like Cali is east. And then you have South America. Some of them places is west. Not to get off topic, but I'm starting to see how I haven't really studied Moorish science, but this kind of sounds like that. And how the Moors was actually the ones with the shits teaching that shit. It had to be us. It just had to be us because it's in our genetics to reflect. I'm not a book smart person, So a lot of questions y'all may ask, it's not, it's coming off from what I seen and from what I already knew, pretty much. But yeah, like when I say the A has a meaning, it's science behind this. It's medical, it ties to medical terms, all types of terms, okay? But the A, if you look at this is the angel symbol for the 144 Cali. But this is the angel symbol for baseball. Even the sports deals with the ball. Everything has a hex on it, a hexagon type shape on each type of ball. You feel me? And that's dealing with now because what we're in right now is 18 through 2160. The Mandela effect, we were here, okay? In between that. So I was literally explaining it from this point of view when I said that the Mandela effect was going to happen in January because this is the rebirth time, okay? Because 369 needs a rebirth for completion. That's when the 12 came in play because it just represents a 3, okay? That's when your October, November, December comes in play with this calendar because when I say April or May is really February, it's going to throw you off. But the only reason I'm saying that is because there's no number greater than 9. So that 10, 11, 12 becomes a 1, 2, 3. So that matches up with, you know, beginning of the year. It makes sense when you see it happen, okay? So what I'm saying right now is we're in the gate. There's a portal open. We're in the gate. So they usually start, like the Lions Gate portal is the first one I heard. And that's the face of the face of the dragon, or Ezekiel's wheel. This is pretty much Ezekiel's wheel, I'm trying to say. I'll be really just needing the words for it. But this is a Ezekiel's wheel. So this is the Lions Gate, but April is, the real April is in July. This is like February because April is the new year. April Fools is really the New Year's Day. And then that goes biblical and everything else too. But because my theory was there's only 3 months for 4 alternates. Just like your air, you have your Gem, your Libra, and Aquarius. That's a trinity. But that's only for air, okay? So your other 3 elements, that means you have 9 more zodiacs. But it's only 4 elements that's dealing with the sun, okay? The circle, which is dealing with the sun. So really, 3, that that trinity is supposed to represent a whole energy. Reason why I say 1 through 12 isn't supposed to be divided. Because when 1 through 12 is divided, now you have your A and B is divided. Your brain, because the A and B is the alpha beta. So that 1 and 12 needs to be together, okay? So that's like saying each, that's like saying in the Avatar, right? The Avatar was supposed to be the master of the elements, right? He was the sun that mastered the elements, right? So if you're saying I'm a gem, but you don't see yourself as a Libra or Aquarius, then you're still in division. Pretty much how people say zodiacs is. So when you meet someone, instead of saying that's a twin, because certain energies that come together is like a binary system. Your A and B. It's a binary system. When it comes together, it denotes. It's just like Aquarius looks like a charge, right? Gemini looks like it's harnessing energy from above and it's harnessing energy from above. So it's still got that Aquarius, right? That's the charge. Now Libra is representing the poles, like your ears, right? So if you had one like this and one like that, what does that look like to you? It looks like some type of air tower or some type of energy tower. But then at the same time, that's like your hands and your feet too. But if you wanted to build, you could peep the science. Feel me? And so I was saying an angstrom, right? What is an angstrom? Chemical identity is a concept that each chemical or substance has a distance property that separates it from other chemicals. Why atomic mass is denoted by A. The number of protons and neutrons combine to give us this mass of number of atoms of an atom represented by capital A, angstrom, as both protons and neutrons are present in the nucleus of an atom. They are together and called nucleons. So I said blue, blue, blue. I wrote that. The A is derived from A by adding an overing. It is considered a separate letter. It's developed as a form of a semi-ligature of A. So a lot of these, if you look on your phone and you hold on to that letter, you see all the different types of letters, of that letter, how they used to write it. But it was always used for pronunciations and stuff like that. So some of them might be a long E, a short E. You might say it like eh, or you might say E, and it just be the letter. Like these symbols always mean something, and that's tied to the spell, low key. So when I was saying eclipse, I said a smaller. Hold on. A form of semi-ligature is the capital A with a smaller O above it, just like this little thing up here. Smaller O above it to denote a longer and a darker A. A process similar to how it omelette mark develop, omelette mark develop from a small E written above certain letters. So when I saw that, yeah, I had a bottle cap with some copper wire. I had one below and I had a bottle cap like right here. I would put it in the ground and touch the top of the copper like that and the ground started vibrating. So when I started looking into the science of it, I did my own numerology and shit just started to make sense. So, January when? January 27th, going into February 8th. Really, February 8th is like 8-8 on the 8-8 portal, how it denotes a higher energy on August 8th. That portal was still open, but when it comes to the 8, it denotes a higher, you feel me? And it keeps denoting higher, but it's just more lined up on the 8th. So that's really why you have your Super Bowl lined up around that time, because they line shit up around these times to harness energy. Okay? They're always trying to manipulate energy, period. All right, so that's what I mean. You could peep the science, boom, because that's still a 369. You could peep the science, you can build with it. And it's the same thing with the other signs, most likely. Just like Libra, Scorpio, Pisces, and Cancer represent something. Like the 6 and the 9, It's still a fish. I'm not a drawer, but it's still a fish. You feel me? You got your black and your white. It's still a fish. It's just one representing above, one representing below, and Scorpio is that C, that gamma energy, pretty much that vortex at the tip. Okay, so dealing with this is a 3, 6, 9, 3. It's a 12, like you see right here, but it's a 3. Now that Mandela effect happened 2023, 2024, February, around the time I said it was. The only reason I was saying that is because we were in between this timeline. And surprisingly, it happened that way. Okay? One thing I said when it got here, it was going to be an emergency broadcast. We didn't get that, but I said China was going to start moving in. And this is when China started moving in. You feel me? So the people who are moving in is most likely them soldiers. Because I've been saying this shit when I didn't even understand this. It's just when you be out your body sometimes and you see a lot of things, fasting gains memory. But I ain't gonna say I always kept it, but I know for sure I fasted on straight fruit for 9 to 12 months in between that. And as that was happening, I was seeing a lot of stuff. So, because whatever kingdom I seen, since then shit been a little weird. And when I came back, it was somebody in my room. You feel me? But I made it to. I remember hearing you have to go back now type shit. And I remember I was flying down like Neo, maybe the second one, and I went through. I was on the second story of my apartments. I went through the apartments, through the wall, and got back to my body. And when I woke up, I was like, "What the fuck? Who was you?" Then next thing I know it, we tumbling everywhere, and I knew it was a real thing because my room was rearranged, and my dad busted through the window, and I saw somebody go past him. So it was like it was some weird shit, but I was still in that gamma state doing some gamma things. I just had my labradorite crystal under me, and I heard that was a protection stone at the time, and I was tapping in with that crystal low key. Had to be the realest. I never seen a labradorite like that in my life. The way it used to glow was just different. But getting back on point, what I named this, I swear I got ADHD. But what I named this, oh yeah, where we at is right here is the sixth ether. Okay, this is why y'all saying the little demon syndromes. Okay, this is the sixth ether. The 6D is the same thing as six ether when I'm talking physical, because physical still deals with the psyche. Reason why physical and mental is one. The sixth ether cycle, right? This is the sixth ether cycle. Okay, we're here. Okay, so a lot of futuristic shit that's past 2024 is going to be revealed, which is why you won't have to wait this long for 3,600 years. This is going to be 12 years. Okay, this is going to be 12 years. This 2160 is us going into the AD parallel, because B and C. Let me just draw another one. Dealing with this diamond energy, because a pyramid deals with diamond energy. That's why it has to be, just like Eddie Griffin said, there has to be one below it. So A plus B, we built like how we built everything. We built things off of reflections of us. That's where the intuition came to even build certain things like this because we understood who we were. We was tapped into self. So we started building things that reflected us. That's why all your AI technology is pretty much a replica of an animal or you. Pretty much you. Even from camera lenses, the flying and all the extra stuff, it's reflections of you. Everything's a reflection. Like this timeline thing is pretty much called the cron time, okay? But it's manipulating our time. So this is when I say we going back to the future because if this wasn't happening, we wouldn't be breaking out this time loop. The time loop consists of 3,600 years, which is why Nibiru, I can't trust everybody, bro. That's why I can't pick sides neither. Because the end is, how you gonna pick sides? You picking sides, you're either gonna be more right brain or left brain when you need to be in balance. So that's like if someone, if A and B was arguing, and for you to see the truth, you're gonna have to hear both sides to be the judge, right? This is when it comes to Judgment Day. You're gonna have to see both sides to see the truth, right? Because it's always one side, it's like your side, my side, and then reality. What's down the middle? Reason why I always say use discernment. Okay? Always use discernment because that's using discernment, not being left or right sided brain. Okay? But let's get back to it. We're here. Okay? So after the 12th, we're going to be dealing with the prophecies that's within the ending of this timeline and this. Because now this is going to be settled. That's going to be at 4, 5, 6. Okay? And that denotes the 4, 5, 6 denotes a CeeLo. CeeLo. And that's pretty much 3 crosses. Because what you use to play that game, you use 3 cubes that have 12 faces. 1 cube makes a cross, like this. So then you have another one. Then you have another one. Okay? So that's your 4, 5, 6. When this settles, this has to settle. This settles this month. This goes right back to your 41 days after eclipse. Okay? This is going to line up to your 41 days. Whatever, yeah, I think it's after eclipse or after judgment. It's something like that. That 41 days, I remember matching it up to May 18th, which is really when I say the gate is closed. But off of Google, they say it closes on the 12th. They're not going to tell you that there's a gate open right now. I'm telling you what type of gate that's open. And there's 4 phases, 4 alternates of it, just like the atom. The atom has, or the sun has 4 alternates dealing with the elements: water, air, Kai, fire, the sun. That's These are alternates of an atom, reason why you can transmute that energy because you have many suns in you. Okay? So once you go beyond the speed of light, then you can travel in both directions. Yes, that's when you upping your frequency. You're going past this timeline. Okay? But a lot of it is going to restart just because of where you at anyway. It's just the memory. When you see it, the thing about the memory is when you can see it, like seeing yourself in a certain time or place, doing certain things, and you see it as real. Now, sometimes what you don't remember, you have the intuition of what's going on. Because this Akashic Records is the 3693. The 3693 is the timeline, but the 369 is also the universal cycle. You feel me? So it's even on the alpha beta system, you look at the Greek Hebrew chart, the scale is written out that way. So when it's talking about the stars, it's always talking about you. Because if you look at my symbol, you're the X in between this shit. The sun and the planet. Above, this is above really. It's just giving energy below. And this is below and it's giving energy above. And it makes the cycle. But when you put the shit together, what is it? The Star of David. This is a 3, that's a 6. And the aura that's created is a 9. Okay? Delta. So now we're going into the 7th cycle. So that's when you have 2250. And if you notice, all these always, that's where we at. But as you tell the truth, it messes up the algorithm when they're trying to plot attacks and stuff like that. Because we're dealing with clones, y'all. But I'm so sorry, bro. I apologize, bro. Because that's exactly how we're doing it. We're time traveling. But they got us caught in the past, really, which is why I said Willow. I left my conscience in the 6th dimension. However that song go. That dealt with the 400-year period that we've been dealing with. Okay? It's science and math to this crap. But exactly. So once you go beyond the speed of light, you can travel in both directions past the future. That's what we're doing in this ship. Because this body is connected to this whole realm. Why? It's reflections of our DNA. Reason why I say we're somewhere else. But we're going back to our timeline, which is back to the future. You know how they said back to the future and not going to the future? They're going back to the future, y'all. They don't want the memory to be revealed because then we know what's going on, as you see. But also, a person who's aware, say if we was time traveling, we was in the past. A person who's aware of what's going on changes the future. So that's the reason why everyone's breaking away from the Unum Sanctum and waking up consciously, because nature is the output to our input. So that's part of our brain. At the end of the day, it's part of our nervous system. Reason why they have to use the moon, Saturn matrix, to even have our brain in this construct. You feel me? They have to attack nature to attack us. what does the moon deal with? The frequencies of the water and the planet as a body, right? And that's how it's been tuning into us. But the thing is, when you start to eat what creates more cells, your cells begin not to die out. So that intensifies the light within you, especially when you're absorbing, when you're doing your physical and mental, you get that right. And then you're outside harnessing energy from above and below. That's harnessing your energy, calling on your energy back. Calling on your energy back is calling on your memory back. And when you're calling on your memory back, you're setting us back to the present time. It could be one person, low key, but it's best we're all representing one energy in a body. It's like if we was in a body of Christ and we're different atoms in that body, generating that light so they have so God have a rebirth. Christ, the consciousness is back. That's a whole Wi-Fi system when you're dealing with us. So then this was really to clean up the body and the mind and know who you are. And you don't gotta worry about any of this shit outside of us. Cause you talk about a computer that they got to even create this BS going on is our computer. Why you think it works so well? Cause we built it. Everything was always a reflection of us. Okay? And that was, I love how you said that. So once you go beyond the speed of light, then you could travel in both directions. Exactly. You start peeping the science of the 369, it's pretty much talking about the DNA code. So once you peep that science, right, begin to build. It's gonna, once you peep it, you're not gonna need school. You're not gonna need thinking you have to go and join NASA and shit like that and waste years of your life. You're just gonna, the whole point is to know thyself, know thy energy, and know thy enemy. Oh, I didn't know you studied under Dr. York. I say that because how you hold your pen. I thought I was the only person who wrote like that. You see, most people write like this, right? I write like this. I always held my pen like that since I was a kid. They threw me in kindergarten when I was like 3. They said I could hang, so I hung. I always been younger than people in school. But, you know, I didn't continue school, for me. I was a Gemini trying to figure out how to handle its energy, my own energy. And when I say I figured out how to clear that, dealing with triggers and everything, I tell everyone the chakra, unlock your chakra videos, that's the mental part. And if you're fasting with it, then you should see a transitioning within yourself. But physical and mental, spiritual is one trinity, like a holy trinity. So I don't know if this is gangster astrology, bro, but yeah, you're right. And I'm sorry, I didn't fully read. It's just, I didn't know Dr. York hold his pen like that. I've been holding my pen like that since I was 3. I'll go downstairs and ask my peoples right now. Just so y'all know I ain't capping. I always been different holding my pen like this. I never knew that meant something though. But If you go beyond the speed of light, then you can travel. Yes, you can do that in this body. You'll start to see how you can do the chi in your hands. You can do it in your feet. And it makes sense how Jesus walked on water, how the God walked on water. Even in your elbows, all around you, your whole aura of light is pretty much your body. And you could connect that. Walking on the air, all that shit is real. Like, I haven't been too big on moving objects, but I did clear the sky many times. Open up the sky to where it's a whole dome of clouds everywhere else, but it's just open where I am. And I didn't have to use no witchcraft. I just understood triangle up, triangle down, X between, above and below. These are your triangles. You got the tab in your hand. You feel me? These are your triangles. You use your hands and your feet to create these deltas, because delta is denoting an energy in the direction it proceeds in. So if you proceed your hands in this direction, the energy is going to pick up on that direction. You can even see the plasma coming out of it if you focus on it. Shit's real. I low-key taught y'all how to write it for yourself. It's just match the timeline they already revealed to it. I don't know if I'm fully right, but every time I've been feeling like that, I've been right. And sometimes I hope I'm wrong. So, like I said, that 456 is 3 crosses. 456 is the 4th, the 5th, and the 6th. 2021 going into now. That's a 456. That C low, gamma low hits. That's the 3 crosses, matching this time with the time too. So, but anyways, I would really click back on here is because on a diamond, your parallels is AD and BC. Then when you add an extra diamond, that becomes a box, a parallelogram. But it connects and it has its own meaning to that. And I gave that to somebody I used to talk to, because I was just like, I could rewrite it one day. But when you look up the definitions of E, F, G, and H, you're going to see the definitions about photons of light and some more stuff. I have a video that says air science. When I got a new job, I was in training and I was just drawing freehandly. I'm not a drawer, but I was just drawing freehandly and start seeing, because I was working at an AC unit spot. They created like AC units and sent them all everywhere type shit. All different types of AC units. So the air science actually had something to do with building that. So, but at the same time, is dealing with quantum traveling, because time traveling is energy traveling. So if energy is traveling and you harnessing this energy, the memory is what makes it seem like you're traveling. The reincarnation is not a reincarnation. It's the memory. Okay? It's the memory. It's crazy how I can't fully remember, but I feel like I'm supposed to shut down North Carolina on some shit. I believe North Carolina or South Carolina, because before the split, it was just Carolina. That's Carol. And when you look at Lena, that's if you change the vowels up, because the vowels just change up the pronunciation, and then they, so that would be Luna. Luna still means light. Okay? Carol light, it's like gold light. So, and I have my awakening here in an apartment complex, being in nature. I done seen, as I was fasting, I started having random ass visions. When I lost my labradorite, the ground took my labradorite, like sucked it up. And it sounds weird, but I was talking to an ant, and I followed the ant, and the ant took me to these different crystals. And once I started touching these certain crystals, I started having visions of Native Americans. It was like visions of us running to this floating castle. Um, I started having native times in real time. I met a dog, one of those huskies that look like wolves. I looked him in his eyes for 10 seconds and we became best friends. And he hated everyone else, literally. Like, I can't make this shit up. And then it was just certain things happening. Like, I found a rock, a stone. It was like a quartz white stone. And it has like this orange type of coloring to it, but it looked kind of like blood. But it was pretty much like an orange. I feel like that's blood. Because I found an arrowhead one and then a square one. And when I put the arrowhead, it looked like the square part was like a sharpener or something. And it had magnetism to it when those two pieces were together. Like, it was just weird. Then I found one that was glowing in the ground, purple, clear quartz. It was glowing in the middle of it, purple, like how labradites glow blue. That shit was glowing purple. And I had certain little NPCs coming around. Even some was industry. But I just be saying how shit operate. Like, sometimes when shit sound crazy, you need to go with self. Because even as your vibration ups, it's gonna test you, which is your duality, or what they call karma. It's really just duality. You have your ups and your downs. The thing is, can you have peace when that shit happens? Can you not let that interfere your frequency when that happens? Because in duality, you just gonna realize I always been straight. There's no point to be down and then do some low frequency shit that's just gonna have me in the same point. Even when you're feeling good, you can still get off a track just because you feel way too good. You have to be balanced. Finding a sound mind is contentment, which is shadow work. Being comfortable and I think, yeah, shadow work is being comfortable in predicaments you're not really comfortable in, but you have peace in those moments. So another person can look at you and they might feel like you feel like this, that, and the third because they would. The whole time, you're just the light. And then the fasting plays a part with the shadow work because you're breaking away from things that don't serve you no purpose. You feel me? So both of those things together is actually an everyday thing when you're dealing with alpha and beta. You have to do your shadow work and you have to be fasting. Because if you're continue bringing on the things that don't serve you, those have their own brain. So a lot of that comes anxiety in your body, and that can manifest on its own. Because once it gets reattached, you could be thinking you manifested something good, but subconsciously manifesting what you don't need. That's because you're allowing it back in your life. Okay? And that's when the mental chakras, dealing with the unlocking chakra, the avatar video is going to help. I say this is because it's already there, so why make a video try to copy it? Just actually do it. If you can do it, it will work. It's just like I might have expressed and it might seem angry, but I swear, bro, my mind's so clear. You can't interfere me if you wanted to. Only thing that could is love. Me falling in love with somebody. But I'm so aware of that. Even when I was aware of it, that's just always been a downfall. Cause not saying me or whoever that person is, it's just I could get attached to somebody that I shouldn't be attached to. It's just like the lady in a red dress in the Matrix. A lot of shit is programmed, and a lot of people it's programmed. I done reprogrammed myself, so it was like certain shit I just can't be around. And yeah, I know a lot of people don't listen ahead of time, so it's like you're talking to the subconscious most of the time. The brain is always listening. Even your skin, your melanin is always listening, picking up you know, picking up on your surroundings. So you're always listening. It just goes into the subconscious until you have one of the moments of clarity and it sparks right here. That's an A and a B too. That light bulb that comes together. A light bulb needs A and B to spark to even create light. You feel me? That was even built off how the brain works. These your poles. And that being said, these being your poles, makes you think North and South Pole. Where is that really? Because I'm starting to think it's West and East. And the timeline looks like if the Earth was flat. But my theory is the Earth, since the sunspots hit these lands that's still in the seas too, I feel like this how it looks. One, two, three, four, five. One, two, three, four, five, six, seven. Huh. One, two, three, four, five, six, seven. And if I connect this, one, two, three, four, five, six, 13. Like, I feel like this is the land. Because this is what happens when the sunspots hit from A, B, to C, D, E, F, G. It creates this star. This is how the aura was even created from this star, supposedly. That's how I see it. So that's a 3, a 6, and a 9. Above and below, you're the X. I really didn't have that much to say. I didn't really think anyone was going to really look. But this is where we at. So there's a 2200 prophecy. I mean, a 2200 year prophecy. That's going to be July, which is going to represent April. So maybe, I'm going to just say maybe, everything people was expecting in April to happen. Yeah, certain things was happening. But I'm saying like the shit that people not ready for. They plot 3 months ahead of time because of Gregorian calendar and the 3693 calendar. So that makes it 3 months apart. But then that goes back into the hedging methods. So I'm going to say July, August, we're going to be dealing with that prophecy and whatever energy below it settled. It's just like now, the 4 and the 5, 1 through 5 and settled. Now it's 1 through 6 and settled. Now, for the 7 cycle to settle, it has to go around Okay, has to go around. It's gonna hit Pacific, Atlantic, Indian, all them oceans and seas and lands. Okay, because it's lands that's under that's tied to these sunspots. Okay, and that's bringing it up back on the rise. Most likely is already on the rise. They just call it different planets and stuff. But it's on a rise. Ooh, I never said that before. But yeah, it's on a rise. But those are sunspots, so you could tell from the sunspots where the missing lands are, or where their headquarters are, is on the missing lands. It's just like Dr. Evil. Dr. Evil always set up his bases on deltas. Deltas, they're going to look like triangle-shaped landmarks. So that's when you have your C's that make the 6 and the 9. It denotes the energy that cycle like the Bermuda Triangle. That's the delta. The cove, delta. Your ports, deltas. Volcano, delta. Even the sun is a delta. Reason why they have Nibiru up there. Nigga, that's a mothership headquarters. You feel me? It denotes energy. See, I wasn't ready for this, but we had to do a quick summary, all right? Because it deals with Properation H, harnessing energy from above and below. Okay, that's Properation H. If you guys watch Austin Powers, it's one of my favorite movies growing up. It's just now it makes a lot of sense. Okay, so that being said, this energy that's being denoted is that V2 that's been in the it's been in like pandemic names. I'm trying to say certain stuff without getting my videos deleted, cause not everyone's been here to see me on here. I used to use an X recorder and try to post stuff. I have so much shit deleted, bro, to the point I really was about to give up. Even one video that's up might have took me 3 or 4 times just to get it right, cause it didn't come out the same way as the first one. You know, when you hop on the video and you in that energy to give it, and then you find out you're not recording or has no sound, and then it might seem like it's just you high, but really it's just the way it happened. Like, that is what happened to me many times. So it'd be sounding like a summary. So that's for how I meant to present it. I'm not used to making videos. I never liked pictures. You feel me? I've always been a quiet person till this shit happened. I felt like I had blood on my hands, so I had to speak. You feel me? I don't like seeing other people going in the wrong way when they should be going the right way. Like, shit's kind of like a sad story, even dealing with certain races and stuff. I mean, it is what it is, but if it was a sad story, this is a sad story. Because this whole 3,600 year thing is just to pretty much show us how we feel and how we rose. And there's going to be a lot of people who awaken, and they still going to be left-minded or right-brained. And they're just going to repeat the same shit. I don't even know how I would see it. I don't even think thinking like that is even going to be allowed in that energy. just because of what it does to your nervous system when you're in that energy. It will cause for a system overload pretty much on yourself. You do not need to have anxiety when all these high energies are hitting. If you peep, the things that's been happening to people is like people are ODing on something and they don't even have to do drugs. It's just caused the same effect. Because most people, when they about to OD, they in shock, scared. And when you're going through shit like that, you can't be shocked or scared, even if you don't understand what's going on, because then that blocks awareness of what to do. Like when I got hit by a certain frequency, I was thinking somebody drugged me. But from what I know now, it was coming from a frequency, because I was doing the regular stuff that I always do. Ground, get sun, and I do that more than anyone that I know. I haven't been doing it lately, but I do that shit more than anyone that I know. So it's like when I removed the fear, I didn't tell nobody what was going on as it was happening. I just listened to my intuition that said eat fruit. But the reason it said to eat fruit is because that fruit, especially in matching DNA, that fruit creates more atoms. It creates more air. So as I ate fruit, I was able to breathe better. As I went to the trees in the forest, because I was in an apartment, so I went inside the trees. I started to breathe better. And I started to ground. I started to breathe better. And when I looked at the other person who went through the same shit, his whole legs went out. So it was like, and all I did was take a half a perk for my tooth. I just didn't know it was fake. Like my tooth, every time an M flare hits, I feel it. It doesn't hurt, but I feel it. So when I could tell by my wisdom tooth when the energy is hitting the planet, because it start to like vibrate a little bit. You feel me? I ain't get rid of my shit. But other than that, I don't feel it until M flares. So now it's a little more frequently because that's what we're dealing with, a lot of M flares. And when you're dealing with M flares, it's pulling in more magnetism to you because the ozone layer is depleted. So it strengthened up your magnetism, the planet magnetism, and the atoms that's in the air, right? When you're dealing with M flares. When you're dealing with the X flares, it's going to enhancing your X. Them A's and B's, them A and B flares, they started to get this to come together. Then that C, really when them C flares hit, that's when you're more intuitive. That magnetism, them M flares though, is how you can manifest the way you want to. You just gotta stay in the heart space and higher. I'm telling you, you can use it to your advantage when you're in these M flares. Because there's always somebody that might tempt your mood. But if you understand your mood, then you understand the predicaments you don't want to put yourself in. You feel me? So that's when it becomes you in your sensei mode. Because the 33 is the master of the what? The 6 and the 9. The feminine energy. I ain't really got say shit to say, but a 3 and a 3 mirror reflecting. Because the 3 is going to look at the other 3. Like say if this was a 3, right? And it's looking in the mirror, it's not going to see that. It's going to see that. But it's going to seem like it's on this side. but it's gonna be that. You feel me? And when them threes come together, it creates an X. And when that X comes together, now you have two hearts on a parallel. So you need to operate in your heart space. Because even in the spirit realm of the dreams, the only way to control your reality is to be in that space and to be in your crown, not your root. Be the head, not the tail. Because now you could be able to control that reality. And it seems like when you do that, you actually just begin to learn shit. Because now you're seeing everything and how your DNA, or pretty much your past lives, even dealt with this shit. I done seen some Egyptian shit, natives, and future. It's gonna be even more AI dropping. It's just gonna be the war supposed to happen between AI around this time. But this time, it's still in the 2000s. Give it like 2029, 30. It's gonna be when they expect the war against the clones. People are already realizing we're dealing with clones and this is the clone war. It's going to happen way sooner than you think. Okay? It's the reason I said when this Mandela effect happened, we're going to be in a futuristic time. So they're going to start dropping a lot of things from the future in this present. Because as the hertz rises, the automated system actually speeds up. So they're running out of time. You feel me? It's just, it seems so plotted because that's what the Matrix is running off of, that timeline. So the automated system running off that timeline is just dealing with us. Our DNA picks it up as the memory ties to that hertz. Well, our DNA picks up on the energy along the timeline, the memory from that timeline. Sounds crazy, but if you don't believe me, look up, if you can find the shorts when I have 1 through 6 and the timeline's written, all you gotta do is, in my eyes, this shit started 2017 and now everyone's saying it. I'm only saying it because I didn't even know it was a total eclipse that happened 2017 till this year. But when that beam hit me and I saw through a wall, I always wondered what the fuck happened. And it led up to this. So, if you don't believe me, that's cool. I'm just saying it's a global consciousness project. And people in Xenia, when we talk about the new world or the old world or come with our stories, they're listening. Okay? But at the same time, the truth resonates. Their computer resonates with us more dealing with the truth. So as we awaken and put stuff on the automated system, we change up their algorithms. When we clean up our body, the body of the planet starts to clean up. And then the consciousness of knowing is in the air. It becomes a butterfly effect. So, I know I don't got many viewers and shit. That's cool. Because the energy I get after I'm done, even when nobody's watching, because there's been times nobody's literally watching me at all. And I just feel great after a while. You feel me? And a lot of fear mongering shit is not supposed to be fear mongering. It's supposed to be awareness. Fear was a created emotion taught to you to clog your imagination, becoming attachment to your soul. Awareness is the natural frequency. It's just like how your melanin has awareness and everything else. Your hair, your ether, your chakras is the same way, your organs. Along this tower, they have different awarenesses. Okay? So fear was never even supposed to be a spirit, which is a perspective. Fear was never supposed to be a perspective. Fear just blocks awareness. Grief blocks awareness. All that shit blocks awareness. But it's that energy you can use to tap into it, though. If that makes sense. It's just like before I saw through a wall, I got scared because I thought someone was coming for me. And I got mad because I had to defend myself. So me and that thinking is just like movies. How do a person activate their power? By being scared or mad, right? They superpowers. That's dealing with your root energy. So what if your root is aware of itself? Now you can tap into it whenever you want. You can go outside, ground, put your hands in the ground, and you don't even have to think or nothing, because it becomes a subconscious thing. It's just like nature is gonna pick up on you subconsciously as you trying to connect. Certain things you do, it's gonna be like subconsciously knowing. Because in my eyes, the spirit is the perspective, and the soul is pretty much the subconscious, the all knowing. So when one and two comes together to create that rebirth, the soul teaches the spirit. But yeah, I can't remember what the hell I named this, but that's just where we at right now. This timeline, that was the Mandela effect. This is the ending of the sixth ether. Now when 4, 5, 6 hit, that's like Jesus dying on the cross, pretty much. So that shows you where we at, because when they said Jesus died on the cross in December or I mean March or whatever, June is March. That's around my birthday. My birthday June 1st. But the second resurrection is supposed to be June 2nd. So timeline wise, we jot like on it. It's just explaining this kind of be rough sometimes because I'm not book smart. I'm I'm intuition smart, meaning you could put me in the jungle and I'm gonna come out with goddamn with all the animals. Not saying I'm gonna come out with them wearing the animals, but I'm gonna come out and they gonna be on my side, nigga. I'm Dr. Doolittle when it comes to this shit. We just connect. It's crazy. Some of us created them. So a lot of this shit that you see is most likely one of your creations. So you understand what's going on. You just think you don't. That's what I'm saying. A lot of us gotta reprogram ourselves because from what I seen today was the example. It's just when you peep reflection